Hi, Team Hope. I'm Tiffany Johnson, and I wanted to come on here and share a little bit about who I am as part of your team and about my Plexus journey. So, I currently live here in Huntsville, Alabama. I have a husband and I have two children, a 5-year-old son and a 2.5-year-old daughter. And my story with Plexus in particular starts after I had my son. I developed postpartum depression, which was a lot more of the anxiety associated with it. And so, in doing so, I got on an antidepressant, and I did very well being on that antidepressant. I felt normal. I was happy. I was in love with my son and my new baby. I was working full time. I was definitely not sleeping full time or sleeping a little, but I did well. And I stayed on the antidepressant for probably about a year and a half. And I weaned myself off of it because I didn't want to be on it all the time. And I wanted to see about having another child, and I didn't want to be on the antidepressant during that pregnancy. So I did well in the months that I wasn't on an antidepressant before I got pregnant with my daughter. I got pregnant and I still was feeling fine and normal like I'd always felt through the whole pregnancy. The only thing that developed was that I developed some asthma. So not only was the baby pushing on my diaphragm and rib cage, but my lungs weren't working well either. And I learned I was severely dehydrated. And I have been severely dehydrated probably for my whole life. I have never drank enough water or anything else for that matter. But when I delivered my daughter, and I thought I was doing really good until about three weeks, and I got very sick. So sick that I was laid in bed. I couldn't hardly take care of myself, and I really couldn't take care of my daughter or my 2-year-old son. So I was struggling quite a bit. And in that time, I talking with my doctor after I'd gotten better from being sick that I was having depression issues again. So I got on the same antidepressant that I'd been on with my son. And it helped. I could tell that I felt better, but I really could tell that I was not good. I was just going through the motions because I had to, but I wasn't necessarily happy with where I was. I wasn't even bonding with my daughter. And by this time, she was almost 2 months old, and I still didn't have a good feel on my relationship with her. So I did talk to my doctor, and she said, well, let's give you increase your dose for the maximum that we can put on the Celexa, which is what I was on. And she said, if this isn't enough, we were going to need to add a second antidepressant. And that being said, your insurance in particular maybe not cover it because of the type of antidepressant it was. So I was looking to pay out of pocket for that. So I knew that that was the option. After a month, I decided that I felt like the increased dose had done it, that I was feeling better, and I was functioning. I was bonding with my daughter. I was starting to fall in love with her a lot more and really enjoying being a mom. And I felt pretty comfortable with where I was at. I really couldn't say that I ever felt normal. I could tell that things weren't quite right. So much so that when I was sad or upset about something and I wanted to cry, and I mean, it makes sense that I would cry because I would have before I ever had kids or had any depression, that I couldn't cry. I couldn't even make myself, or I couldn't even fake it. And that was a little bit odd. So I knew that the whole time things were just not quite normal. So fast forward some more time into the fall of 2016, October in particular, is when I started to realize what had been happening for the previous 3 or 4 months. My depression symptoms had gradually started increasing, and I hadn't really realized what was happening. And it was probably nice that I did realize when I did, because that doesn't seem like a terribly long time to know that you're feeling much more depressed than you had been. And I was still on my antidepressant. I still am on my antidepressant now. But that being said, I mentioned it to my husband, and I talked to him. I said, I feel like my depression symptoms are getting worse, or my antidepressant is not effective anymore. And so I was concerned, and we kind of talked through about some things that I was going to try to kind of sleep differently and to change some habits to try and improve. So see if that would help before I called my doctor up. But in that month, I also started looking up more into more on what I was seeing from Christy Barkley. Now, I had watched her much more aggressively on what she was posting about Plexus and how it had impacted her story all summer. So much so that when I was wanting more energy and having better sleep, I thought, well, I can help my gut health by drinking apple cider vinegar. And I did that for about 2 months and got on a probiotic, and I thought I was doing okay. It wasn't great, but I think it was improving. But I couldn't stand the taste of apple cider vinegar after about 2 months. So I had gone off of that. But through October, once I realized that my depression had increased, I went ahead and started looking more seriously into Plexus and to the ingredients. Now, my background is much more medical. I got my graduate degree as a physical therapist, and I work part-time now. I did work full-time even after my son was born, but I decided to stay home full-time with my kiddos once my daughter was born. So being my medical mind and maybe a bit skeptical about things, I went ahead and looked online at the medical journals that I do research out of, and I did through school. And I checked out the individual ingredients in Slim, BioCleanse, and the ProBio 5 because I was looking at the triplex. And I was pleased to see that medical research had been done about these individual ingredients based on what Plexus was saying that these ingredients do. And I was pleased with the research that I saw. Nothing was conclusive or proved anything. And some even said that, yes, there were improvements, but it wasn't statistically significant is the big term. But I was okay still seeing that there were improvements and that people are seeing this and they're researching these products anyway. So I talked to my husband about it and said, hey, this is what I'm interested in trying to see if I could get some more energy and feel better. It's helped her and many other people with depression and anxiety symptoms that I want to try it. And so we had a little extra money and he said, okay, well, we can try it, because we also knew that the alternate of getting a second antidepressant would probably come out of pocket and be anywhere from $80 to $100 anyway. So not too far from the cost of triplex. So I went on it right around Thanksgiving and Christmas, and through that time, talking with my husband after a month, and I said, so what do you think? And he said he noticed that I was different, so much so that he was no longer skeptical. He maybe was curious about what was happening, but he was pleased enough to say that he thought I should stay on it. And of course, I felt different. I felt more energy. I was happier. I was relaxed. I enjoyed my holiday experience. I was very relaxed through all of Christmas and Thanksgiving and what's typically a very stressful time. I was very relaxed and I enjoyed it. And that was huge to me. I was sleeping better. I mean, I haven't slept great since my son was born. I have not slept through the night. And finally in December, I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm sleeping through the night. It's been 4.5 years. So I was a believer. And I talked to Christy and I said, I've already started telling people that I feel better and what it is. And so it's kind of exciting. And so she just kind of took me and started running. She added me to Team Hope. I started learning things. And the more and more I started to learn, I knew I had to share. My passion is helping people feel better with their bodies, and Plexus, being a health supplement to help people feel better with their bodies, only supported my passion. And I couldn't help but think that there's so many patients that I have treated. I mean, I could probably tell you 10 to 20 people that I have worked with extensively to help improve their pain. And I got them really good, but I could only do so much for their mechanical dysfunction because I couldn't change the biology and the bacteria in their gut and the inflammation that was going on through their whole body. And if I could get them on this and then treat them again, I would love that. That would probably be a goal, because I think that this could help so much for these people. So I have to share. I prayed about it very extensively, and I do feel like I have a small calling in being able to share with people to help people feel better is a calling that I have been given with for years, and I have enjoyed very much of it in physical therapy. And so when this comes along, I feel called to share with people. And I feel like it's an awesome thing that I have a great team to be able to work with and to support me and to support you to be able to share with more people about Plexus. This stuff is amazing and can do so much for people. I love our bodies. I think it's a great gift that we have. of these physical bodies, and it amazes me what they can do. It amazes me when they don't work, and that's fascinating to me, but it amazes me when they do work. And I really feel like the Plexus products have been able to support my body so my body can do what it's supposed to do and to take care of itself. And I love it. I think it's great. So I am so excited to get to know so many of you on this Plexus journey and on this team. And I am so excited to be able to move forward and to build and to grow and to share Plexus with people and to help people feel better about themselves. So thanks for taking the time to learn who I am and to meet me. I like to look forward to meeting so many of you. This is great, and I'll talk to you later. Bye.